One of the great things about Outlook and using its calendar is it's not just about creating meetings with other people, it's about organizing yourself. So what I can do is I can create new appointments, and these are things that are more personal activities that I'm going to be doing. So for example, I might want to have a new appointment. All I do is I click on new appointment. So it is a doctor's appointment, and it's at the medical center. And then I choose the start and the end time. So for example, it's actually going to be next Tuesday, and it's going to be not half an hour, it's going to be an hour. Now, even though I'm only offered half-hour blocks, this is because if you remember in our settings, we've chosen to have it at half-hour increments. I can, though, still change this manually. Now, if I save that, this is then going to go into my calendar. But let's have a look at some of the things that we can do. So first of all, I could have a recurrence. If I click on this, it allows me to say that this is going to happen every week, every day, how many occurrences I'd like it to take place, or to end on a specific date. So for example, if I had an exercise class that I did regularly, I might want to put this in. So therefore, everyone looking at my calendar knows that between this time, I'm busy. Time zones we'll talk about in a little bit. One of the things you might want to do is to set a reminder. This is very useful. At the moment it's set to 15 minutes as default, but you might want to edit this. For example, if it takes me half an hour to get to the doctor's, what I might want to do is give myself a half-hour reminder. So half an hour before this event, my laptop or my phone would then remind me that I actually have this appointment in half an hour's time. I have the ability to add a category. We looked at categories in the earlier videos. Remember, these are the same categories that are across your mail and also your contacts. Well, I'm happy with that at the moment, so I'm going to click Save and Close. And now you can see that actually these dates have now been marked bold, and what that basically means is I have an appointment on that date, and there it is. So that's a new appointment. So what's a new meeting? A new meeting is an appointment that you're going to invite others to. You've got different options. I can open up the original appointment just by double-clicking on it, and then I can invite attendees. By clicking on Invite Attendees, instantly it is moved from a new appointment to a new meeting style, and it looks more like an email. So what I can now do is I can send this new appointment to someone who would like to attend. So just for this example, I'm going to send it to myself. If I click on the scheduling assistant, it also allows me to now see the different people here and see if they have other commitments. Here is a timeline, and I can see that there's another commitment is actually the doctor's appointment. So that's okay. If I want to add more people, all I need to do is come down here, click on the Add Attendees, and it takes me to my contact list. And I can just add whichever attendee I would like to attend. So let's just add a number of them. I can say that they're required, or I can say they're optional. When you're receiving a meeting request, if you're required, it means that you should really make the best effort to go or to ask them to reschedule. If it's optional, then it might be something that's more for your information. Let's put these as optional. They don't really need to come to my doctor's appointment, and click OK. You'll now see that their calendars have actually appeared, and I can see that no one's busy at this time, apart from two people. It's actually outside their working hours. If I want to remove them, all I need to do is select them and delete. And I can again bulk select, holding down the Shift, and remove them all. If you're ever not sure of what these different colors mean, in the bottom left you've got a little key here saying what busy, tentative. They've put an out of office, they can't actually access their calendar information, or outside of working hours. The other thing we have down here is Add Rooms. If I click on the Add Rooms, your organization might have set up rooms. What this allows you to do is each of these rooms actually have their own calendar, and it means that you can book a slot in that room. If you're not quite sure which rooms are empty, What you can do is you could always select multiple rooms, bring them in, click OK. It's now said, do I want to update the current location? Because of course, if you remember, I wrote the medical center with the new location of the meeting rooms, and I can click yes. And straight away, I can see which of the meeting rooms are free and which are not. So once I'm happy with that, all I need to do is just remove the meeting rooms that I don't want to use. There we go. Another thing to note is in the bottom right, I have a suggestion of meeting rooms here. So in the bottom right, if I choose any rooms, I can then actually see which rooms are available. And seeing as I only have the Brunel meeting room left, it's actually telling me when there is time available. You might also have set up room lists according to the location. So for example, in our Sydney office, here we go. We've got all of these rooms available to us. And again, I can choose whichever ones is appropriate and then select it and then click send. Let's just remove those rooms. There we go. So Room Finder, very, very useful. When you're finally finished, you can then come to this appointment up here and then click send. And then that meeting request is going to be received by everyone here in this distribution list. So let's just delete that. So what happens if I receive the meeting request? Well, any meeting request, you can see I've got one here that has not been accepted yet. And this one has. Regardless of if I've accepted the meeting or not, you still get the same options. Let's double click on this and have a look. Even though I've already accepted this meeting, I have the ability to tentatively accept it saying, I think I'm going to go, or decline it. You also can see that I've got a little drop down here, and for each of them I can choose that whether just to automatically send an acceptance, or do I want to add a response. For example, if I would like to edit a response before sending, it allows you to make some comments in an email-like format. Here we go. Yes, but I may be a few minutes late. Let's just close that. Do you want to send your response? No, this was just an example. Do I want to save the changes? No, this was just an example. Let's go back and have a look at that. I might want to propose a new time. This could be very useful. For example, you might not be able to make that particular time, but you're keen to attend. So you might want to say, well, I can't make that time, but this time would be good. And that's a very common way of responding to certain meetings. Just be aware, though, that if you are going to propose a new time, you do actually have a list of all the attendees in the scheduling assistant. Here we go. I can see everyone attending. So therefore, I might want to have a look at this and go, well, the only other slot everyone else can make is 11 o'clock. So I'm going to suggest 11 o'clock. When you propose a new time, try and make it easy for the meeting organizer. So there you go. What we've had a look at is we've had a look at creating a meeting request. We've had a look at sending it, looking at the different settings you can see, and also booking rooms. Of course, there's lots more to meetings. That's in some of our later videos. As usual, give it a go.